Hello and welcome to another edition of the Black Business Experience. I'm Robert Felder here at BBN. Facebook advertising. We've talked about it before. Hopefully you have had an opportunity to get into it. As I was thinking about this and talking to others about Facebook advertising, it brought up a situation I had with Facebook advertising originally, because for a long time I would not do it anymore because I felt it was so expensive without results. So what I wanted to talk to you today about was how you can make Facebook advertising a lot cheaper. It doesn't make a lot of sense to spend money on something that doesn't give you results. It also doesn't make sense to spend a lot of money on something that you don't have to. And I want to give you a few steps to help make this a little easier as far as pricing your advertising on Facebook. So, number one is before you create any ad on Facebook, you need to know the people who are spending money on you. Who is your target client? Who are you looking for to spend more money on you? Stop and think about this for a moment. Were they male? Were they female? Were they married? What location were they in? Was it San Antonio? Was it Houston? Say you're in real estate. Were they coming from North Carolina, or say at North Carolina, Fort Bragg, or say they were coming from Killeen? Specifically, what is your demographic? Who are they? The first part of the Facebook ad is identifying this. You need to know their age group. You need to know their location. So sit down for a moment before you create any ad. Make sure you know specifically who you are going to be targeting. Because if you go in there with a common interest of, say, interested in baseball, well, that's kind of broad. Narrow it down, male, female, between the ages of 18 and 25. That takes you down from 20 million people to probably 2 million people. When you specify them in the location, that may take you down to 50,000 people. Be specific, know your target. Number two, when you create your ads, create more than one. Now, as we just talked about, you want to target who your very specific niche of people you're trying to target is. Number two is create more than one ad. So for example, if you create an ad based off of that niche that we just talked about, create another ad where there's a slight variation. For example, you may create the ad where it is female, married, between the ages of 29 and 49 years old. The next ad you create might be a slightly different demographic. It might be between the ages of 49 to 59. The exact same copy, the exact same photograph, just slightly different on the age demographic. It might be slightly different for, say, testing Houston versus San Antonio. Same ad, just a change in the location. When you create the ad, right under it, there is a button that will say create similar ad that will allow you to do this. It will make a carbon copy of the exact same ad. That way you can duplicate it and then just change those demographics and then set it to start. Now, once you have your ad started, and one more thing, when you create those ads, create at least 5 different variations. You want to have multiple options on your ads. You want to know which ones are working and which ones not. You also want to know which copy is working well. The phrases that you have in your ads, is that working well? The photograph that you thought was going to work well in your other marketing, you thought was going to work well on Facebook, well, it's not so hot, which means you might need to change it in your other ads. So test, see what works. Now that you have your ads created, number 3 is eliminate. Eliminate anything that is not working. If after a few hours, if you're not getting any clicks on it, let it go. Why would you stay with something that's going to just continue to just sit there and it's wasting time? Then all of a sudden, poof, there's a charge on it. You don't want that to happen to you. You want to keep control of your ads. So after a few hours, take a look, see what's going on out there. If it's, say, 4 or 5 hours, and nothing's happened, cut your losses. You don't need to stay with an ad that's not working. If you have other ads that are performing well, look at those bids. You may want to start bringing those bids down if your ads are performing well, and you don't have to spend the whole amount of money that you thought. So, Facebook advertising. If you have more questions, contact me here at rfelder@blackvideonews.com. As always, this has been the Black Business Experience. I'm Robert Felder.